project came out good.
Call the meeting to order. Please rise. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item on the agenda is approval of the November 20th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, next item on our agenda is new business. We have a application today. It's P362, located at 100 Atlantic Avenue. PIDN :83.000/CTM number 13412.00-429.00. It's an application P362, a land development site plan submitted by Plitco LLC on behalf of the property owner, A1 LLC, for the purpose of establishing a general business design showroom by appointment in an existing structure on property zone CB1 General Business District 1, located at 100 Atlantic Avenue. PIDN :003.000/CTM number 134-12-00-429.00. So with that, I guess we'll open it up to Mr. Lober for any comments you may have.
Certainly. Good afternoon, everyone. For clarification purposes, the plan that we reviewed for presentation tonight is a concept level review. So we're presenting comments to the applicants so that they can gather those information and move forward with future submissions. No vote tonight.
Right.
All right. Thank you. Based on our review of the plan, we have the following comments. Generally, one, the plan proposes an overall lot coverage of 79.8%. The maximum allowable lot coverage for GB1 zoning is 50%. A variance will be required to allow coverage beyond 50%. Correct the maximum building area coverage listing under the building setbacks to read, quote, maximum lot coverage, unquote. The 50% coverage includes all buildings, structures, and impervious coverage. Field shot topography will be required on the preliminary plan. Section 140-79-B6 requires a 10-foot wide easement around the perimeter of the property. Given the existing developed condition of the site and the fact that the on-lot drainage will not need to be redesigned, the department has discretion over the easement requirement. Provide the perimeter drainage easement to the greatest extent possible, given the location of the existing building, up to the 10 feet required. Should it be deemed that a dumpster is necessary, it will need to be depicted on the plan and located and screened in accordance with code requirements. The existing paver walk will need to be deemed ADA compliant in order to remain as the only access to the front of the building. It appears that a portion of the entrance drive around the building exists outside of the property boundary. The plan will need to propose the removal of any improvements beyond the property line. Provide the height of the existing building on the plan. Depending on the type of sign proposed for the use, a variance may be required given the limited space at the front of the site to locate the sign. Provide dimensions from the property line to each of the walls of the structure that encroach into the required setback. Although it is not a requirement of the plan, a breakdown of the gross floor area addressing each use, for example, office space, showroom space, storage, etc., would be helpful to support a parking analysis and/or variance application. Moving forward, additional comments will be provided regarding specific plan requirements as each level of plan review is achieved through the process. Regarding parking and loading, the use as proposed of a by appointment only builder design center showroom qualifies as a service use that requires one parking space for each 250 square feet of floor area. The parking space requirements are based on the entire gross floor area of the building. The required parking for the proposed use is in the existing building, requires 15 parking spaces. If the required number of spaces cannot be provided, planning and zoning may consider a parking study prepared by a qualified traffic analyst justifying that fewer spaces are sufficient to provide parking for the use as proposed. The parking spaces, as currently shown in the front of the property, cannot be utilized without potentially obstructing the use of the public sidewalk in the right-of-way along Atlantic Avenue. Provide only one ADA-compliant parking space in the front of the building and ensure that it can be accessed from within the bounds of the subject parcel. Any parking spaces proposed in the gravel area to the rear of the building will need to be diagrammatically depicted on the plan to verify dimensional compliance and delineated in the field with parking bumpers. 1 separate loading space is required by section 140-60 for service uses between 2,000 and 10,000 square feet. Section 140-60-B3 allows the loading space requirement to be eliminated if it can be shown that the character of the particular use makes loading facilities unnecessary. Given the proposed use as by appointment only, the department would be willing to eliminate the requirement for the loading space should the applicant be willing to commit to notes on the recorded plan requiring that loading take place outside of appointment hours. Regarding landscaping, screening, and lighting, landscaping, screening, and lighting will be required to comply with the code. Variances will need to be obtained for relief from any requirements that cannot be met. Existing vegetation on site can be utilized to support the landscaping and screening requirements should it be proposed to be maintained. Regarding floodplain requirements, the building will need to comply with the requirements of section 116-5C. Variances will need to be obtained for relief from any requirements that cannot be met. Regarding wetlands, delineate the wetland buffers as required by the code. Any existing structures, impervious cover within the buffer area will be required to be removed in accordance with section 116-16B. Regarding outside agency approvals, given the unique nature of the existing condition of the site and the number of variances that will be required to permit the proposed use to be approved, approvals from DelDOT and the State Fire Marshal will be required prior to the acceptance of the preliminary plan and any variance requests, as any site plan modifications required by those approvals will need to be incorporated into the site layout prior to final variance determination, hearing by the Board of Adjustment, and potential preliminary plan approval. And regarding variances, at this point the department has identified that variances from the following categories may be required. We will not be able to complete the variance list or the specific variance descriptions until the site layout has been finalized. Those categories are maximum lot coverage, the sign location, minimum screening width, parking area design standards, and setbacks with regard to driveways, steps, and the building.
Okay. All right. Any,
Sorry, that's all. Thank
you
you.
want that?
That's all I have.
That's all you have? Okay. Any questions? Anybody have any questions?
I would like to comment that this particular parcel located on Route 26 has been vacant, dormant, and kind of an eyesore until the applicant purchased the building, put a considerable amount of capital into it to give it the appearance it has now at 100 Atlantic Avenue. As you can see, this property is very challenged. And I just want to say that this is an opportunity for the town to take a property that is underserved and have something functional and productive there along the Route 26 corridor. I realize that it's challenging. The engineer and the applicant are working through this. So we need to, our consideration of this process needs to be very thoughtful.
Okay, thank you. Anybody, questions for Jim or?
I have none.
Yes? No, we have none, if I said, I have one. Okay. All righty, let me open it up to, Mr. Plinko, or you're from Plinko, right?
I am from Plitco, yes. My name is Ray Blakeney. I'm with Plitco Engineering. We're at 53 Atlantic Avenue here in Ocean View. We are in receipt of Mr. Lover's letter. We realize, as Ken said, this is a challenging site and there are some issues to work through, and that's something that we're committed to working with the town to get it to the point where it's acceptable. As Jim said, the property is located at 100 Atlantic Avenue in the GB1 General Business District. It's approximately 11,666 square feet, or 0.27 acres in total area, and there's approximately 451 square feet of non-tidal wetlands down here in the corner, in the bottom corner there. As we said, the existing building is non-conforming to current town standards, setback standards. I believe the building was originally used to house telephone equipment. It was more of like an institutional use. It was never a commercial use. There's an existing paved driveway along the side of the building that accesses the rear of the site. There's a stone area in the rear of the site. The dimensions, it's sort of overgrown now, but we took the dimensions off of existing historical photographs. At one point, this was pretty much all a stone area, so we wanted to make sure we reflected that properly. There's some existing concrete stairs that access the rear door of the building that unfortunately kind of pinch that driveway a little bit for rear access. So that's something we're going to have to work with. There's some existing vegetation at the rear of the site, mostly in the wetland area. And as was already stated, the building and the lot coverage are non-conforming to current town standards. As Ken mentioned, the current owner has taken steps to clean up the building in the front of the site. He's added a paved walkway and a stone parking area in the front of the building. He'd like to use it as a builder custom design center. There'd be a showroom at the front of the area with several small offices off of that, and then 2 storage areas in the rear of the building. There will be an ADA accessible parking space in front. As Jim mentioned, it's probably a better idea to reduce that to just 1 parking space, which will give us a little more flexibility as far as the turning movements and everything. Additional parking will be in the rear, which will designate with parking bumpers. We may need to seek a variance for parking quantity and design standards as well. Again, as we move forward with that, we'll know the extent of that. As Jim's letter stated, we'll need to check in with DelDOT and the Office of State Fire Marshal prior to coming back with a preliminary plan to make sure they're okay with the access and everything that we're showing as well. So to sum up, we're going to need variances for setbacks, lot coverage, possibly floodplain requirements, and again, possibly parking and landscaping. We'll need to figure out the access that satisfies the town, DelDOT, and the fire marshal. So our next steps are going to be to identify the extent of those variances that are required. We'll meet with DelDOT and the fire marshal, and we'll move forward towards a preliminary plan submittal. The owners are here as well, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
I'd like to offer Ray a point of clarification, if it's okay with you guys. Just real quick, Ray, the parking, we're not going to be able to obtain a variance from the parking requirements. The vehicle that the code provides is that parking analysis. And
Okay.
so what we'll ask is that somebody do a study, right? And show us that the building, based on the use, only needs that much parking.
Very good.
And then we'll review it in that vein.
Very good.
Thank you.
How far off is the building's too close to the front, right?
It's too close to, hold on, let me make sure.
26?
I'm not fibbing. It's too close to the front, it's too close to the west side, it's too close to the east side.
Kind of surrounded.
It's surrounded, yeah. I mean, as Ray mentioned, it was literally a Bell Telephone building full of equipment that nobody
Right.
ever went in.
Right.
And so they just put it on a minimal sized parcel, and it stayed that way and functioned, so everybody had telephone service for decades, right?
How far on the front end of the building is it?
I would say, based on the plan, it projects out into the 30-foot setback, 10, 12 feet, something like that.
We're talking about 12 feet of within,
Into the setback.
Into the setback.
But that setback is 30 feet.
right,
Yeah.
setback's 30 feet. Okay.
And that's an estimation, but I think I'm close, yeah.
All right. All right, any other questions? Would the owner like to address the
few
Commissioners?
comments. Mark Campbell, obviously one of the owners for the building at 100 Atlantic. I appreciate Ken's comments. Certainly, it was a building in disrepair and a little bit of an eyesore, and I recognize the fact that there's some challenges with the property, and obviously we're trying to, make the improvement within the town limits with what the restrictions we have. Respectful of all the caveats that are required, we'll certainly work with the engineering team to make sure that we're doing all the things to adhere to the requirements. I've had previous conversations with Del Dot and just exploring different opportunities to leverage the building. There is some understanding. There's some uniqueness about that. I did get some positive feedback at a high level, if I may characterize. So I think there are some challenges there. I think we can certainly work with it. And I appreciate, you guys giving us the opportunity to work around these challenges and then, kind of go from there. But, again, we respectfully, with the type of business going in there, we understand there's not a lot of parking, available. So the appointment only, the prospective tenant, does kind of home services. We wanted 3 small offices, obviously a half bath, and then, a showroom for, fixtures, bathroom fixtures, and I think some cabinets or something like that. And then the remaining is going to be storage. I personally will have some storage in the back, just some tools and some trailers and parts like that. But it's just, because obviously the use, I think the building is just shy of about 4,000 square feet internally. But if you're not aware of the building, it's a strong brick structure. We did, and thankfully the town allowed us to make those improvements with the new roof and things like that. So structurally, it's sound. We also piped in new service from a sewer, and the water lines are inside the building. So it's kind of ready to go. In terms of the FEMA, I did some research on and talked with some other engineering companies that these are FEMA-approved door panels that we obviously can leverage those to protect and address some of the FEMA requirements. So we'll be able to supply those details as well. So again, I appreciate the time, and hopefully we can make this a productive piece of property within the town limits. Thank you.
When was the building built, do you know?
I think it was in the 50s. Yeah.
50s?
Yeah. So I assume they had trucks in and out of there. They were able to egress. So we'll see. 26 is a parking lot in July, so don't have to worry about anybody pulling out anytime quick on those. But anyway, so appreciate it. Any questions for me? Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right, well, we'll close that portion of it. I don't think we have any, one here contesting and wanting to come forward. So we don't need to move forward with that, correct? All right,
No public comment either.
no public comment. All right. I personally think this is an opportunity, like Ken said, to do something positive with that piece of property and, be a benefit to the community rather than an eyesore. It's gotten so overgrown over the years that it's almost
Invisible.
invincible.
Yeah, it's
Invisible, yeah. So, but, all right, well,
It's a challenging endeavor, but good for you.
No, I appreciate it. It's unique. It has a lot of character to it, so
Sure.
yeah,
we think it'd be kind of a nice little feature for the town.
right, okay.
That's nice.
Well, does anyone wish to make a motion? Well, we're not making a motion because it's a concept plan. So we appreciate the feedback from both of you, and I guess we'll make a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are done.
You guys are